Good afternoon. I am Patrick B. McCoy, and this is Across the Arts, and I am here in New York City with Lawrence Brownlee, LB to all his friends. Hello, how are you?
What's up, Patrick, the maestro?
Hello, can you all hear? Oh, I'm sorry.
The old-time maestro.
Can you all hear us okay? Let us know if you can hear. We're using these lavalier mics, and I want to make sure that you can hear us. I see Tedrin and Gary. Can you all hear me? Give us a thumbs up or something to let us know that you can hear.
Let's make sure that while we're talking to that my team is cross-sharing this as well.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, you go on. I would just make sure that they are cross-sharing.
Stephen Tucker, Gary Holly, can you all hear? Can you all hear? Please let us know in the comments whether you can hear or not. We're testing the microphones. Can you all hear?
As we say, my mic sounds nice. Check one, check one.
I might. Let's see. No one's letting us know anything. This is the difficult part. Can you all hear us? Can you all hear us?
People. Look at that. People.
Yes, they're coming in. Can you all hear us?
Too.
Let us know if you can hear. Caprina, can you hear us? This is my sister. Caprina, can you hear us? Right in the yes, they can hear. Adrian said we can hear. Thank you. I had to get the yes from the Bahamas. Okay. Again, I am Patrick D. McCoy, and this is Across the Arts, and we are live in New York City, right across from the Juilliard School, and I'm here with none other than tenor Lawrence Brownlee, the incomparable Lawrence Brownlee. Larry, again, it's so good to have you here. And I know that you've been at the Met singing your heart out in Mozart's the Zauberflöte. And I am so glad to be able to be in the house tomorrow night. So, Larry, I want to start actually with Rising. Congratulations on that.
Now. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to you and all of those composers. And I'm so happy to see that they're being amplified. Talk to me a little bit. What really inspired you to record such a project of black composers and young composers at that?
Well, you know me. I am definitely pro lifting up people, pro helping people. It's not myself, but there's a group of us that are really focused on helping younger singers, younger composers, stage directors, and we want to do all that we can for them. Me and I call them the caucus. We talk regularly, and it is important for us to uplift, but also to shine light on and to promote others. And so we're doing that. I wanted to take the music of these young, vibrant, extremely talented and gifted composers and musicians, and to pair them with some of the writings of the people that really inspired me as a young man, Langston Hughes. Unfortunately, we couldn't use the writings of Zora Neale Hurston because it was in the public domain thing, and there's a certain amount of time that has to pass before you can use it. But so many other people, Arnold Bontemps, Claude McKay, Georgia Johnson. As a boy, I remember reading some of these people and how they impacted my life. So why not take the writings of these people and pair it with the incredible talents of musicians, composers like Damien Sneed, Jasmine Barnes, Sean O'Peblo, Brandon Spencer, Joel Thompson, and I'm missing the last one. I did some of Carlos Simons, Jeremiah Evans, and forgive me, the last one escaping me right now. But these are incredibly gifted musicians who had incredible things to say, and so I'm happy that I was able to work with them.
That's amazing. I had mentioned the fact that I was so sorry that I missed you when you all did Rising at the Kennedy Center in the Terrace Theater. And that was presented by Vocal Arts. And,
yes, Vocal Arts.
And then also, I see that Terry Allen is on. That was also a co-production with the Coalition for African Americans and Performing Arts. So thank you. So I want to talk to you. I just want to go back because I never want to take for granted that everybody knows who you are or have exposure to. Well, I'm going to tell you all this. I met Lawrence Brownlee probably about 14 years ago because of my dear friend Mame Wilkins Holt, who is the mother of the great late baritone Ben Holt. Okay. And as you all know, in Washington, she's just really very supportive of the arts, particularly blacks in the arts, and because of her son. And the first time I probably heard Larry was at Washington Concert Opera.
Many years ago.
Yes, it was many years ago. So Larry, I want to talk to you and just ask you, when you were coming up in Youngstown, Ohio, did you ever see yourself being on an opera stage?
I didn't. I grew up in the church. A lot of people know my story, but I grew up in a church called the Church of God in Christ. The Kojic Church, we said you get in where you fit in, and music was obviously very important in my rearing. My parents, my mom and dad, my siblings, I'm one of 6 kids, they all were involved in music, and so it was very, very important. I never thought I would be an opera singer, but sometimes they say your gifts, the Bible says, to get biblical, that your gift will make room for you.
Yes, they will.
Sometimes it'll say what you're supposed to do. And so in high school, I started to be singled out for my voice. I had a teacher early on who said, you had a voice for classical music. Why don't you give it a thought? And I thought, classical music, I don't like that stuff. I wasn't one of those kids that grew up with the music of the great Leontine Price and the great, of course, the recently departed Grace Bumbry, Martina Royal, George Shirley, Paul Robeson. I knew who he was, but I just didn't know much about classical music. Then I was exposed to it, and people began to tell me that I should try. And then I would be singled out for my singing, and people told me that I had a voice that was extremely rare, a high tenor with flexibility and nuance. So all those coloratura or melismatic songs we sang in the Kojic Church, it paid out, when I started to approach the bel canto repertoire, which seemed to really be written for me.
Yes, and Rossini, of course. And I always tell people that because a lot of times when you hear the runs in gospel music, they're very fluid, like you're singing, that bel canto rep. So I'm glad that you really made that correlation. Now, singing Rossini, and now you're singing Mozart, but I know you've sung Mozart, of course, before. What work does it take for you to make that adjustment in the style of singing between those two composers?
Well, I think the thing that's the most evident is the melismatic and florid roulades and high pace, high pitches. How you doing, Brittany?
Hey, Brittany, come on in.
Okay, how you doing?
And look at
her. Come on,
come on, Brittany.
How are you?
Let the people know who you are. This is across the yard. Tell them what you're doing. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I am going into my 3rd year of the Lindemann program here at the Met. It's nice to be seeing all of you.
Look at that. That's what New York is. All around.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
We'll see how stuff be working out.
Yes.
You asked me how did I fit my, if you want to call it, fit my voice into that. I started with Mozart. The first thing I ever sang was the Magic Flute. My voice. But I think a lot of people have always felt that for me, my voice shows its uniqueness when I sing the high-lying things that perhaps some other people may perhaps struggle with. There are things that I think my voice is suited for that others aren't, and others' voices are suited for things that mine are not. And so returning to Mozart for me has been fun because I've had the opportunity to show hopefully some maturity in myself as a singer and an artist since I started 31 years ago. And so it's been really nice to return to this with more intelligence, with more musicality, with more understanding of the character. And so I appreciate the opportunity to return to the Met after like 9 years not singing on the Met stage, which is a long time for me, in the role that started it all for me.
Listen, I would be remiss if I did not go back to the events of the pandemic, George Floyd, and all the implications they had. Could you describe, I'm sure you have so many words to describe, what does it feel like to be out here again performing like you were before COVID?
I missed it. And in the pandemic, it showed you a different side of life. It showed you, that being at home is cool too. As someone who is nomadic in my makeup, I love to be in different parts of the world, see different things. That always for me is a lot of fun. But, when I was at home, I was like, okay, it's nice to wake up and see my family every single day. But when you get back to performing and you get a chance to be on the stage and to revisit your colleagues, and revisit some of the places that you've had some great performances, it feels right. It feels like, this is what I've been missing for during that whole time. And things are not 100% normal, but it feels like we're getting back to life as usual, which is good. But You see it. But, I can tell you for a fact that I really did miss performing, and I'm happy to be back. So happy.
Larry, I'm going to take a moment. If you all could do me a favor and share. I don't have access to a lot of my pages right now, but if you could share.
My people are sharing too.
Oh, good. So you can share this live, Patrick Lee McCoy. And, and if you go.
Doing things.
Thank you, Larry.
This needs to go viral. We need to promote people like him and lift him up because he's doing good work for us. All you can do to help this young man, like we all are doing, we're definitely going to do it.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. Now, listen.
No, he's an alpha.
Oh, my goodness. This Kappa. This dude is a Kappa.
We had to go there. We had to go there.
But
second best is not bad.
Oh, God. This dude. And that's kind of how we met the first time I kind of crashed one of his post-concert dinners, and we threw up our signs and things. But this guy's a great guy. Listen, let's go back to the Magic Flute. Now I want to make sure I'm right. So tomorrow night is your last performance, right?
No. We actually have 3 more. We have
3 more.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So it's a total of 9.
Okay.
We had our Saturday. We had our HD broadcast, and people were watching it as far as China and Vienna and Sweden and Germany, just all over the place. So. It's nice to know that the work you're doing is being viewed far and wide.
I'm sure. I never imagined. I'm sitting here at, this is Cafe Paradiso.
Cafe Paradiso.
Right across from the Juilliard School. I never imagined I'd be sitting here and I'm drinking my lemonade and Larry has his coffee. But listen, let's go back to the Magic Flute. Now, there's a particular artist, your co-star, Erin Morley. I ran across her because of the pandemic. I remember, I want to say, I'm not sure if it was, it might have been the first video, but anyway, she was accompanying herself. But then the second one, she was singing the Handel Tornami. And I was so floored. I'm like, how in the world can you play that intricate accompaniment and sing all the color tour that you have to do? Talk to me about you singing your role of Tamino and just being with her in that Mozart.
Erin is amazing as a singer, as a colleague. She's extremely generous. I appreciate working with her. Our voices, I think, match well. Our physicality, I think we match well. She's a giving artist. She's someone that is making such a name for herself. But to explore this role with her at the Magic Flute, it seems like it was the right choice. And I have a lot of singers that I really respect and I like working with, but I am definitely going to put Erin in that column now, and we hope to do many more projects together. She's interested as much as I am to do things and to do some special things. I won't say anything.
Okay.
Just, you know me, I'm a man of many projects, and so there are things that we're kind of.
So you give me the exclusive, though.
The exclusive. You heard it here. So yeah, you got to hold my feet up there and make sure that he gets the exclusive. But something is coming. Something's coming.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you all make sure you all continue to share. Again, for those who may have just come on, this is Patrick Lee McCoy. This is Across the Arts. We're in the middle of New York City, across from the Juilliard School, and I'm here with the incomparable Lawrence Brownlee. So tell me something. We were talking about Erin and working with different people. Now, you know the person I want to ask you about because it's one of my absolute favorites, and it'll be one of my dreams to meet this person. Cecilia Bartoli. Talk to me about her.
Well, I want to make you jealous because just this morning we exchanged a text because of her birthday.
Oh yeah, I recognized her yesterday. I posted about her.
Cecilia Bartoli, my gosh, someone who's inspired me from the beginning of my career, someone who has offered so much to the world of music that continues to do that, doing special projects. She is the most generous, humble, just down-to-earth person that you'd ever meet. She is hugely famous. She is one of these people that when you go to see her, there are droves of people that come. The lines are long because they want to see the great Cecilia Bartoli. So I consider her a friend. We've done several projects together. I've had the honor to be in her presence at her house with her family in Switzerland, and just we have a relationship of mutual respect, but also admiration. She's a great foosball player. She is not a delicate flower in the sense that she's not all precious and fragile, but she is a pretty ruthless and shrewd foosball player, great cook. She has so many hobbies and loves so many different things. And so when you see someone who does so much with music, oftentimes we feel like they are singularly focused on music. But she has a life outside of it. It's rich. Wonderful husband, Oliver, and so I consider her a friend, and hopefully I get a chance to work with her in the future.
So you all can tell now that we're in the middle of New York City. But let's talk about that kind of having your hands in different pots, if you will.
Yes.
Let's talk about larynx photography, because you're catching all the artists as well. Talk to me about your photography.
We're sitting here and it's out of the view of the camera, but I have all my camera stuff here. And so I regularly shoot my camera. I have several of them. I have 4 right now. I'm selling a few, but I made a real investment in my photography equipment because I want to take it seriously. One of the things about me, there are a few things. I love the idea of being a student of something. Some people may look at me and say that, you're fortunate to sing at, what some may say is the highest level regularly. And I appreciate that. It's definitely not by accident. I feel like God has blessed me, but I felt like I've wanted to be a good steward of my instrument and to do the work and work on my languages and work on musicality and everything else. So yes, I'm happy to be singing at arguably the best opera house in the world right now, and other, going to places of equal status around the world. But it really makes me feel great to be a student, someone who's in the process of learning, where I have not, if you want to call it, mastered something, where I'm continuing to learn, where I'm seeking for information, where I'm doing YouTube tutorials and just, as sometimes people reach out to me, I'm reaching out to other artists who are seeking information or reading or just trying to get in the practice of doing things to learn more about something. So my photography is one of those things, and I have my cameras every city I go. So people always say, why do you have so much luggage? Because I have my cameras. Because I want to be able to pick up and go to the park and shoot birds and shoot ducks and shoot people. Not actually shoot people with guns, but take pictures with my cameras, just to clarify. So yes, larynx photography is open for business. No, it's not, the thing is, it's not a legitimate side hustle, but it's what I tell people that I want to be at that level to be able to produce something of professional quality and be happy doing it. So.
Now, I know a lot of times people ask you about the musical side of what you do being a professional opera singer, but people sometimes forget the business acumen that has to come into play when you're trying to manage such a career. Could you maybe talk about how did you kind of learn the business? Was it something as you went, or was it trial and error? Talk to me about that, because I'm sure that some people might want to know that if they're pursuing this career.
The business part of it is usually not taught. And it's something that people find out by living the life, falling on your face, not understanding something. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know we had to do this. I think some of the schools, some of the programs for university programs are trying to now implement those important courses on taxes, on agent fees, on international spending, on phone plans, on, they have single databases for like renting out apartments, their networks. There's so much about the business side that I've had to learn over the 25 plus years that I've been in the business that are not taught on day one. And sometimes you have to learn for yourself, but now we're becoming smarter and sharper because we're able to share information online. So yes, I have tried to be a resource for others and just to give them my own experiences traveling outside of the United States. But there's a lot that goes into this business, and it's not just getting on the stage and singing. It's not that. It's a lot more. And so someone told me a long time ago, the last thing you do is sing. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff you need to figure out before, in the business end of it. All of the many, 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 many things about the business have to be also thought about if you want to pursue this career.
The reason I brought that up is because, like a lot of what you just intimated, even when I was, in school, we learned the repertoire, we learned the music, but just knowing how to really now to market yourself and all that, for me, that came later. It came out of trial and error, as you know, especially when I first started doing had this whole notion that I was going to cover classical music and things like that. I had to really, follow my face before it all clicked. So that's very important. So just as we wrap it up, because I know I don't want to overstrain this glorious voice, and you have all these performances. So again, we're here in New York City, and Larry is singing in the Magic Flute Mozart at the Metropolitan Opera House. And I will be there in the house tomorrow night. And some other people, I'm not going to tell you who, I'm going to be judging. So, look, don't do me like that. But listen, just as a takeaway, for maybe, you see it, look, I forget I'm with a celebrity.
I see people. How about this? What do you think about me getting the chance to ask him a couple questions? How you doing?
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
You said when you wanted to, because I do my little hosting tip. I'm trying to be like Patrick.
The sit down LB.
I'm trying to be like Patrick McCoy version 2, just a better version because it's a Kappa. Just kidding. No, let me ask you this, because for you wanting to be a journalist, to follow singers and to follow their careers, let me ask you about, being a musician, having studied yourself, and you feel like you have a special place to kind of point in or zero in on some of the nuances of this career, because you also have performed and you have both sides of it?
Definitely, because oftentimes when I go to a concert, for example, Mozart, I love Mozart. It's something that I would have an affinity for. So let me just get to the crux of that while I'm even mentioning that. I don't go and seek out things that I don't necessarily care for. And that might be kind of a slippery slope. But for instance, if I'm in the audience and I have an affinity for Mozart, then there's certain nuances and things that I'm going to be keen to. And now selfishly is a level of enjoyment to it as well. But oftentimes you do have people who write and have no musical training whatsoever. The only thing they're doing is they're observing something that they really don't have a connection with as a performer. It gives me great joy to know that I have a musical background, and when I go to these things, I can pull that into the whole spectrum of my writing.
Good. Second question. I'm only do 3, okay? The second question is, do you feel like you've been giving the access that you wanted to be able to develop into your own thing? Do you feel like you're needing to follow parameters that have not been set for necessarily you? Has your road been easy, or has it been difficult doing what you do?
It's actually been difficult, excuse me. And I think I've shared this many times on my, thank you for asking me that, Larry. I remember when I first started pursuing, music criticism and things. And matter of fact, shout out to Laquita Mitchell, her and Tal Papua, because when I first started writing, I used to write for this online website. It was called, it was an online website called Examiner.com. And so a lot of times when I would approach, and I don't mind saying this, when I used to approach the Kennedy Center at the, Washington National Opera and things like that, and I would ask them, could I review and things like that, they would say, oh, we don't have enough room, you're just a blogger, you don't write for a publication, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And a side note is I also used to work in the Kennedy Center, so that's a whole other story. But at any rate, as time went on, I began to get the popularity and things like that. But I think the changing point for me in all of this was when I got the opportunity to write for Washington Life magazine, for which I interviewed you for for perfect pitch. We're looking forward to we got to get to everybody.
Bravo. How was your opening night?
You were.
It was
Okay.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. You're sweet. Thank you.
See what I mean? He's in the middle, right across from Juilliard. Everybody, but basically what I was saying was, it has not been an easy road. Some of the opportunities that other people get, I necessarily didn't get, but to God be the glory. I'm thankful for the ones that I have gotten. But going back to Wash Your Life magazine, I think that was the pivotal point in my career, being named the Performing Arts columnist, and then with Perfect Pitch interviewing you and Denise Graves and Miss Fleming and so many other people. But I do hope that one of these days it will truly go to the next level. But talking about parameters, something I did learn. I know that people have a sense of like protocol, and you're supposed to do this and do that, and you have to go through the publicist and that. But I learned a long time ago, if you really want access to the people, you have to go to them. And that's really how my career started. I did the nice thing, tried to send the emails, and that didn't work. But at the end of the day, I had to really just go ahead and push my way forward.
Some of the gatekeepers are not wanting you to open the doors for you as well.
That's true. And most of you all
follow that protocol.
That's exactly right. Because one of my key mentors and supporters has definitely been Ann Majette.
Yes.
Majette, formerly of the Washington Post. She was the chief past music critic. And she definitely, I don't know this for sure, but I in my heart of hearts definitely feel like she supported me and probably would have been happy to see me in another, to progress in that. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. I mean, and you almost like went on to the last thing I was going to say. Where do you hope Patrick McCoy goes? What is, of course, in the world, our heart's desires, I would love to do this. And, the thing is, I don't think it's a problem with you setting your sights on the highest height. And so you have your platform, this is yours, where you can say where you hope, where does Patrick, in your mind, your hopes, your heart, where does Patrick McCoy go?
Well, I hope that across the arts is something that I could be all over the world when you and Morris and Nicole Houston Lane and Janine DeBeek and so many other people, when you're in all these countries, I could just have my whole team and we're there. Because believe it or not, I'm sure, now this is going to lead me to a question. I know this was your question, but that made me go here. As a black artist, and you're excelling, at the highest level in music, and you go into these European opera houses and concert halls, what feeling do you get when you don't see the reflection of yourself in the audience?
Well, I understand that in some places they just don't have necessarily the public in that city to support it. But there is no reason when I'm in Washington, D.C., when I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, when I am in Philadelphia, my home company, when I'm at the Metropolitan Opera, that there shouldn't be a large contingency of people that look like us in the audience. And so, as I said before, the group, many of the people that you mentioned that I talk with, regularly, we are talking about being the faces, being visible, but also engaging in community in outreach and engagement, so that people know that they're welcome to the opera, that we want to see them, that we want to see a representation of people that look like us. And a lot of people still, unfortunately, believe that classical music is only for there are no, oh my gosh, a black opera singer. I'm trying to tell you, when you think about the Angel Blues, you think about the Janae Bridges, Janai Brugger, Morris Robinson, Kenny Overton, Nicole Easton, Aaron Flagg, Russell Thomas, Kevin Shore, these people, Laquita Mitchell, these people that, so many more, Will Liverman, oh my gosh, that are singing at the world's very, very highest level. And if I didn't say your name, you know how to forget about it. There's a lot of us out there, but when you see that we're doing it, you feel like, and not just getting by, but making these incredible contributions. People want to come and celebrate this. I think people love tennis because of the Williams sisters. I think people love golf because of Tiger Woods. And when they realize that we're not the first ones, you have the greats, the greatest of the greats, the Leontine prizes, and so many others that were the foundation of opera. I think you'll take a great pride. And guess what? Along the way, you may actually fall in love with it. So that's what we want to do. I want to continue to be an artist that is engaged and not. I want to be approachable. I don't want to be so far removed that people think that I'm just not a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. I'm walking around in a t-shirt, and camouflage shorts today. That's me. But I'm just, I want to be a whole, real person that draws people to this art form that I love and, believe I will spend my whole life doing it.
You are a whole and real person. Let me tell you something. First of all, no, in all divine seriousness, every time I mention your name, and of course, I have the unofficial Lawrence Brownlee fan club that I started many years ago. It is very active.
The first one. Always support.
But what I wanted to say is that anytime someone mentions your name, it's synonymous with graciousness. You don't always find that in this art form, not just opera, just in the arena where the person's on public display. So I want to thank you, publicly for that, because it takes a lot. I'm sure that there are a lot of demands. It might be sometimes you don't want to deal with the public. You've just finished singing, and then you say, "Oh, can I get your autograph?" or whatever the case may be. But your people skills are bar none.
Yeah. You know what? One of the things that's important to me is, and this is something that I got from my father, I truly feel like something that costs you a little can mean so much to someone else. So just a little bit of your time could make someone's week. 5 minutes, or the fact that you signed their program, and how much you can injure someone if you don't acknowledge them. Now, I know you can't please the world, but I feel like if I have the opportunity to say something, or to be accessible, or to go and talk to a group of kids, which I'm getting ready to do at Carnegie Hall, because a friend asked me if I would just come and say something to them. Again, I could be doing something else, but if just taking some time out of my schedule, I hope it will mean something to them in their pursuit of what they want to do in life with arts too. So that's just who I am. Like I said, that's the way I was raised. One of 6 kids, trying to give and not realize I'm a citizen of the world, and it's not just all about me. I've always been that way, so that's what I continue to do.
Larry Brownlee, thank you so much for joining me today. Oh my goodness, this has been a treat again. I am Patrick Lee McCoy, and this is
Patricia Portillo.
Yeah, you got the shout outs.
Oh, okay.
You probably got more, but I'm afraid that if I try to scroll up, I'm going to knock this shout part down. Again, this has been Patrick Lee McCoy Across the Arts. We're here with Lawrence Brownlee in the middle of New York City. Please share. Oh, thank you so much.
We on the Patrick McCoy team.
Okay, but I guess I might as well scroll up and see who's on here.
Yeah.
Hey, Patricia.
We can get some shout outs if we do that. Let's see.
Hey, Miss Ruth. Hey, Trey.
Okay.
Timothy. This your frat brother.
Right there. Okay, the Newts, you know how we do.
James Mayo, Philip Rogers, Sherry, everybody. You got everybody on here.
God Almighty, we're not going to be talking about him.
But listen, you have a great day. Please share. Again, this is Patrick Lee McCoy, and we've been talking with the great Lawrence Brownlee. He is starring in the Zauberflöte at the Met. We're so happy for this brother. You all take care.
We will.